What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope you're all doing well. First off, let me know how his microphone sounds. It's new. Let me know how it sounds. I meant to play. You can see it right here. This is the gain, and it's called the pattern. I made to play around with it. So let me know how it sounds. Think if it needs adjusting at all, please let me know because I may have to do that because it is new and it's more complicated than all other microphones I've used in the past. Well, let's get started. Haven't done the show in a few days. Let's get the show on the road. NBA playoffs continues. Second round continuing to wrap up. In the Western Conference, going back to Tuesday, 3 days ago, the 12th, Spurs beat the Timberwolves 126-97. Absolute blowout. Take a 3-2 series lead. Wemby had 27, 17, and 3 blocks in the win. Spurs go up 4 games to 2. On Wednesday, the Cavs defeat the Pistons 117 to 113 in overtime. Cade 39, 7, and 9 in the loss. Harden had 38 and 6 in the games. Actually, had a solid game from James Harden. Donovan Mitchell played relatively well. Well, not, I won't say relatively well, but he was only 1 of 8 from 3, but 21 points, decent overtime period. Max Strus had 20 points on 6 of 8 from 3 and 36 minutes off the bench. So the Cavs come up big. First road win of the playoffs for them. Tonight, they have a home playoff game. Games on Prime. Both games are tonight. Pistons Cavs game 6 in Cleveland. Cleveland has a chance to go to the first Eastern Conference Finals, their first ECF appearance since 2018. It'll be the first since they brought in Donovan Mitchell. I think at this point we're going on. I think this is year 4 of Donovan Mitchell, I believe. Pistons, I don't think I've been to the ECF. I think their last ECF appearance was one of all in 2004. Well, trying to stay alive. Game 6 tonight at 7 at 9:30 Spurs, Timberwolves game 6 in Minnesota. Spurs lead 3 games to 2. Spurs trying to advance to their first Western Conference Finals. Man, it's been a while. I know, let's see, they won a championship to beat Miami in the 2014 finals. I thought they had one more deeper-ish run before Tim Duncan really kind of started to get washed up and they fell off before they retooled, brought in Wembanyama and all these pieces. Of course, now they're back. But it's been a little while. Timberwolves, of course, were in the West Conference Finals each of the last 2 seasons. We're now dealing with some injuries. Dante DiVincenzo is out towards Achilles. Last round against Denver, Anthony Edwards is playing through that knee injury. But Spurs are up 3 games to 2. Game 6 is tonight. Had some sad news that happened over the last week or so. Brandon Clark unfortunately passed away at the age of 29. He was a player for the Memphis Grizzlies. Really, really sad. Rest in peace to him. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Just 29 years old. Apparently, it is being classified as some sort of drug overdose. So really, really sad. And rest in peace to Brandon Clark. And thoughts go out to his loved ones and his family and friends. And unfortunately, more sad news, Jason Collins, who is the only openly gay player to ever play in the NBA, he has not played in the NBA in a very long time, been over 10 years at this point. He also passed away, I think only a couple hours later, which is really, really just rough timing, unfortunately. Age of 47 from brain cancer. He'd been battling for a little bit. So rest in peace to Jason Collins, who was kind of a pioneer. He was the for only openly gay player in NBA history. I think he came out maybe 2014-ish, something like that. So it was over 10 years ago. So this is when, that kind of thing was accepted, but it wasn't as, well known as it was now. So it was definitely a big deal. So rest in peace to Jason Collins. And once again, thoughts and prayers go out to his loved ones and his family and friends. On a lighter note, Daryl Morey has been fired. No, that's not super like guys losing his job, but he has been fired by the Philadelphia 76ers. Bob Myers, the legendary Golden State Warriors general manager who built the Dynasty teams, of course, from the 2010s. Well, those teams that won 4 finals in 1 8 year span. And he's going to oversee the front office. He works for, I think, Scott Harris. Yeah, Scott Harris, who owns the Sixers, he also owns the New Jersey Devils. Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, HBSE, is his company that he owns. Bob Myers is the president of sports of that company. So He obviously has familiarity with not Scott Harris, excuse me. Scott Harris is, I think, the general manager of the Detroit Tigers, the baseball team. Josh Harris is the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. I believe he also owns the New Jersey Devils. Did he actually try to buy the Mets before Cohen did that? That's completely irrelevant, though. Morey took the job as president of basketball operations with Philadelphia in November of 2020, so very beginning of the 2021 season. So he was there about 5 years. He did some good things. I can't deny him that. I believe he was one who drafted Tyrese Maxey, trading up to get the third pick last year and getting VJ Edgecombe. Him and Maxey are going to be together for a long time, so good on him. But the negative things he did really outweigh the positives. Giving Joel Embiid that extension when the guy was starting to age, declining a tiny bit, injuries were really piling up, not enough playoff success for a guy of his caliber, and he still gave him that ridiculous extension. To give Paul George, like, again, an aging player with health issues, some inconsistent playoff production, to give him a $200 million max contract that was always a little questionable and how this is going to work, and it has not worked at all. That they have won just one playoff series in 2 years with him. He's missed a lot of time. He's been inconsistent when he's been out there. And just give Jared McCain away to the Thunder makes no sense. The guy's shooting the lights out this postseason. One of the better young players in basketball. Just give him to the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Who already have the best young core in the NBA. The defending champ already have a ton of depth, have a ton of draft capital already. I mean, they might win a championship, and they have a lottery pick, which is just absolutely crazy. And like, you look at some of the guys they once had on the roster. Isaiah Joe was on the roster. He's playing meaningful minutes off the bench for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You had Julian Champagnie on this roster at one point in Morey's tenure. He's playing meaningful minutes off the bench for the San Antonio Spurs, one of the best three-point shooters in basketball. Like, Morey has killed this entire team's depth, and you have two immovable contracts in Joel Embiid and Paul George. I don't know where you go from here. Got the NBA draft coming up in about 3.5 weeks or so. I do plan to do it, at least one mock draft. May only do one. I'm not sure. I may do two. We'll see what happens. But game going to do one sooner rather than later. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But the reason I actually mentioned that just now is that Sixers announced they do want a new president of basketball operations before the NBA draft. So expect in a couple of weeks them to fill that vacancy. But Bob Myers is coming aboard to oversee the front office and lead the process of bringing a new president of basketball operations. He's basically the president of a team right now. Once he brings in a person of basketball operations, that's going to be his job will be done. He's I guess he probably didn't want to be. He probably doesn't want to be like a full-time general manager again, like he was in Golden State at this point in his life. But I'm sure Josh Harris called him, asked him if he could do him this favor, and I guess he agreed. So that's what's going to be happening in Philadelphia. Daryl Morey out. I think that's the right decision. He's such an overrated executive to me. Uh, Outside of James Harden trade in Houston, he kind of ruined them as well. Trade Clint Capella and going small destroyed Houston to me. So I think he's an overrated executive, to be honest. Continuing down the NBA front office lane, the Chicago Bulls continue to fill out their front office. They brought in Bryson Graham about a week ago or so to be their senior vice president or executive vice president, whatever they're calling it, to be their top basketball executive. He comes over from Atlanta. They have hired the Magic assistant general manager Stephen Mervis to be their senior vice president of basketball operations. They're also bringing in the Nets vice president of basketball operations, AC Law, as a vice president of player personnel. So Bulls are reconfiguring their entire front office. Of course, doing to find a new coach as well. But Bulls are bringing in those two gentlemen to be in the front office. I'm not sure about the hires. I mean, Stephen Mervis is part of the front office. We gave up 4 ticket first for Desmond Bain. Took Paolo Banchero first overall, which right now isn't looking fantastic. And then AC Law is part of the Nets front office. They had 5 first-round picks last year, and not one of them made any all-rookie team. But we'll see how we do in elevated roles as the Bulls reconfigure their front office. Overall, I think the Bryson Graham hire was a pretty good hire. Let's talk about the MLB standings. I have not recapped them so far this season. I do this more often as we get later into the year when the games matter a little bit more, but let's talk about it right now. American League East, Tampa Bay Rays are rolling. When they get their last 10, they are 28 and 14 in first place in the American League East. They are playing some really good baseball right now. They now have the second best record, the third best record in all of baseball, and the best record in the American League. Yankees 27 and 17. They were hot as heck. One of the best teams in baseball. They have lost six of their last eight games. Mets and Yankees start the Subway Series later tonight at Citi Field, but Yankees 27 and 17. They have lost six of eight. Anthony Volpe recently came back and made this error in a recent game against the Orioles.
Wilson, the Orioles 6, 7, 8 hitters. Ground ball, Leote. Volpe makes his first error of the year.
As someone who coaches baseball part-time, at least has in the past, I've seen 10-year-olds make that play. I'm just putting it out there. It's not even an exaggeration. The Orioles are 20 and 24. Of course, they made a bunch of big moves. Pete Alonso, he's just kind of been okay. He started really rough. He's come on as of late. I'm on the record saying I obviously would rather him be with the Mets as a Mets fan, but he's just kind of been fine for them. They haven't been great, but they're 20 and 24, 12, 19 and 24. They have a zillion injuries. Their starting pitching depth, which looked among the best in the league going into the year, has been really tested early on, so they're struggling a bit. And the Red Sox are 18 and 25. Just a rough start to the year. Now, Crochet, their ace, is hurt. The rotation that we thought would be really good and had all his depth has not been great. And offensively, they've been kind of up and down. Rowan Anthony has not been great. Everyone thought people did. I'm honestly he's overhyped because he has superstar potential, but people thought the guy was going to turn into like Aaron Judge was here, like at least regular season Aaron Judge was here. That's not fair for a 21 or 22-year-old who has like a half a season of games under his belt. Like, I don't know what fans were expecting from him. Like, we had people saying he's going to be top 7 MVP races. Like, I'm not saying the guy won't be an all-star this year, won't be an incredible player in his career, but the guy's never going to make. But come on. He was never going to make that jump this year. Red Sox continue to struggle 18-25. American League Central, or whatever this division is, there is two teams over 500 in this division. American League is a crapshoot. Cleveland Guardians are in first place, 24 and 21. The White Sox are 22 and 21. They've won 5 in a row. They're playing some good baseball. Murakami, whoever said this guy couldn't hit the fastball when he was coming over was wrong. That guy is a masher. I think he's among the league leaders in home runs. Twins 20 and 24. They haven't been as bad as I thought they were going to be, honestly. I thought they'd be a lot worse. Tigers 19-25. They are really struggling. They do have a bunch of injuries. Skubal, best pitcher in American League, is out. He's going to be out for a while. Looks like he will be back sooner than most guys would from that surgery. Most guys will come back the very end of the year. He'll be back a little bit before that, but it's still going to be a while. And offensively, you've been very bad. Have a couple of guys out. I think Gleyber Torres is out. You have a couple of pieces out, but you've been very bad offensively. And your bullpen, which was been your strength these last 2 years, we thought would be again, has not been very good either. So they are really struggling. They've been very bad defensively. They got swept by the Mets. The Mets, for crying out loud. They've been very bad lately. But because of how bad their division is, it's keeping them alive. And the Royals in 1925, they've been disappointing. I thought they'd be better. I feel like a lot of other people share the same sentiment. I think a lot of us thought that they have a lot of younger guys that are going to take step forward. I like Carter Jensen playing full-time this year. Jack Caglione, former top 5 pick, who has been very bad so far, had a strong World Baseball Classic. You all thought this is where he really breaks out. Hasn't happened yet. Cole Reagan's once again hurt. Supposed to be their ace. So they're having a tough go of it. In the American League West, which is somehow worse in that division, the only team over 500 is the Athletics. Now, I'm not terribly surprised. I said before, this team offensively can rake. That's with Nick Kurtz not even doing what he was doing last year, but he's been good but not great. I told people this team can rake. Their pitcher was always going to hold them back, but they're 22 and 21 right now. Seattle 22 and 23. They are not off to a great start. I actually picked up to win the whole thing this year. That's not off to a great start. They just need to get more off with the production. Cal Raleigh, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's been horrible. He had an 0 for 36 skid. He's hitting just 150, and now he's hurt from the oblique, so he's just off to a horrendous start, worst of his career. You have Tex at 21 and 22. Houston 17-28 has been really bad. Their window appears officially closed. A lot of guys are out. I mean, you lost pieces in the offseason. Of course, Framber Valdez, your ace, you lose him for agency. You brought in Tatsuya Amai to replace him. He's been really bad. Hader is still hurt in your bullpen. You have guys out. That's been pretty much a disaster for the Houston Astros thus far. And the Angels 16-28. Now, Mike Trout has played very well. You have a couple of fun pieces on my team offensively. Zach Nato's looked very good at shortstop for them. Their pitching is absolutely horrendous. I mean, Jose Soriano had a nice little start. Other than that, they've been really bad because of how bad the division is. The division is. They're 12 games under 500 on May 15th, and they're 5.5 games out of this playoff spot. The National League, which has been much stronger than the American League this year. NL East, the Atlanta Braves continue to roll 30 and 14, best record in baseball. They continue to steamroll. Phillies 21 and 23 started off absolutely horrendous, but since firing Rob Thompson and promoting Don Mount into interim manager, they've played some really good baseball and have gotten themselves back in the race. 21 and 23. Nationals also 21 and 23. They've been a little bit better than I thought they were going to be. Marlins 20 and 24, and the god awful Mets are 18 and 25. They're starting to play a tiny bit better. They did just sweep the Tigers, but now they get the Yankees in 3 game sets. We'll see how that goes, but 18-25, it's been a disastrous year for the Mets so far. Cubs at 28 and 16 continue to play some really good baseball, and they are in first place in the National League Central. Brewers are at 24 and 17. This kid Jacob Mizrachi, that kid is something else. Kid throws really hard. I'm not sure how that'll work out long term. It's another discussion I won't have today, but they're playing some really good baseball. And that's with, they've dealt with injuries. Jackson Churio missed a bunch of time. They've had a bunch of guys miss time, and they're playing really, really well. What happens when you have Pat Murphy, who's the best manager in all baseball. Cardinals are 25 and 18. I don't expect them to keep this up, but they are definitely exceeding, I think, everyone's expectations. That kid, J.J. Weatherhold, top prospect, middle infielder, has been fantastic. Pirates 24 and 20. Paul Skeens on another planet right now. He's a sub-2 ERA, and that's with having a start where he came out in the first inning against the Mets on opening day, partly because O'Neill Cruz made 2 brutal defensive plays. One, a can of corn fly ball. The other, he misjudged a fly ball. Without that game, he would have it, like, he has like a 1.9 right now ERA. He could have like at least a 1.5. Like, the guy's on another planet right now. And the Reds 23 and 21. This is a really competitive division. Reds, they've been fun. They have been great. Chase Burns just threw a gem. They have some nice starting pitching. Kudos for staying in there even with Hunter Green out. But they just don't hit enough. But they've been fun. Bullpen is still a massive issue. Need more firepower offensively. But that rotation are proving it's not just the Hunter Green show with him hurt, because Chase Burns has been really good. National League West, Dodgers have been 26 and 18. As long as they're in one piece come the playoffs, they don't have much to worry about. But did you all see about Edwin Diaz? He's been like involved with this illegal cockfighting tournament. What I mean by that, like chicken fighting, like Michael Vick Dole with chickens. Apparently, he does it in Puerto Rico, where he's from. I guess it's not illegal in Puerto Rico, and it's actually very famous over there. But it's illegal in the United States, and he can be suspended for it, from what I've heard. So I don't know what's going to happen, but what on earth? Like, I read that headline this morning. I thought I needed to take an Advil. Like, what? I was like, am I seeing this correctly? Just, he's obviously currently injured right now with elbow shoulder. Hopefully, he comes back soon for his sake and for the Dodgers' sake. But my God, was he doing this when he was on the Mets? Like, well, what is going on? But they just got Mookie Betts back. They'll be fine. 25 and 18 is the Padres record. They're a half game out of first. Manel Tatis, we got to talk about him. He only has like what 2 or 4 home runs. He only hit he had less than 20 homers last year. I think this is the player that he is. Now he's a great player. He's a Gold Glove right fielder. He is truly a good hitter. But man, like this is a guy when he came up had like some of the most raw power we've seen in the wild, and he's I think has 1 year over 30 home runs, and he's in what year 5 or 6. So something to keep an eye on. Diamondbacks are 20 and 22. The whole thing with them is that, really talented ball club, but, flawed and just, tough division, 2022. They just traded Alec Thomas to the Dodgers. So Alec Thomas was a superstar prospect originally, was second round pick in 2018 by Arizona, came right out of high school in Chicago. He's been really bad. Over 1,400, almost 1,500 career plate appearances, almost 1,400 career at bats. He's a 230 career hitter with a 634 career OPS, was like just 180 and 94 at bats this year. If the Dodgers fix him, I'm going to clothesline Mike Hayes in the Diamondbacks general manager. If they fix this kid, I swear to God. And also, they give up nothing. They sent over, no, the other way, a 17-year-old outfield prospect, Jose Raquena. That's who they sent over the other way. I swear to God, the Dodgers fix him. Giants 18-26. At this point, just trade Devers. Blow it up. Tony Vitello, about it, I said that was not going to work. Someone over his head. I already ranted about that. And the Rockies are at 17-27. Again, they have a couple of fun pieces offensively. Hunter Goodman's a really good offensive catcher, but just it's Colorado. They have obviously no pitching, and it's Colorado. Like, what else do you truly expect from the Colorado Rockies? Got a bunch of football to talk about. Devon Achane got a big extension from the Miami Dolphins. 4 years, $68 million. Achane, since being a third-round pick by Miami through 3 seasons, has developed into one of the best backs in football. As a rookie, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns on the ground, but did miss a bunch of time, missed 6 games a year. We all thought, oh, this is the worry of coming out of A&M that his body wouldn't hold up. But he's missed just 1 game over the last 2 seasons. 2 years ago, ran for 907 yards and 6 touchdowns on 4.5 yards a carry. Also had 78 catches for 592 yards and 6 touchdowns. This past year, he runs for over 1,300 yards and 5 touchdowns. Lovely with 5.7 yards per attempt. Also had 67 catches for 488 yards and 4 touchdowns. So in total, he has over 1,800 total yards and 12 total touchdowns, an average almost 6 yards a carry, and made his first ever Pro Bowl. One of the best backs in football, still just 24. I'm kind of split. Miami should be paying nobody, and you decide to pay a running back $17 million a season. That's the third most of any back in the league, but you should be paying nobody. On the other hand, you got a rookie quarterback coming in next year. You got to give him something. And Achane is not nothing. He's one of the more dynamic backs we've seen in a little while now. One of the best backs in football right now. So I'm on the fence whether or not this was warranted. If you're the Lions and Falcons, which they have Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson up for deal, they probably fucking threw up when they saw this. Oh my goodness. Eagles and Cowboys, by the way, the NFL schedule dropped officially, fully yesterday. Eagles, Cowboys are going to be playing on Thanksgiving at 4:30. The 1 o'clock Thanksgiving game will be Bears and Lions. Of course, tradition. The Spain game in week 9 in Madrid will be Bengals, Falcons. Thanksgiving Eve on Netflix will be Rams and Packers. You can go out and look at all these other games. I may talk about some of them as we get a little closer to the NFL season, but full schedule has been dropped, and we got a lot of football this year. We got the opening games on the Wednesday this year. We got the Brazil game again. We got like 9 international games, which is to me just too many. We're playing in Germany again. We're going to Spain. We're playing in a game in Mexico. We're playing. I forget if we're playing a game in Brazil. Actually, we might not be this year. The NFL. That was a disaster watching. I would not be surprised if they didn't do that again. But the NFL schedule is fully out. By the way, Thanksgiving Eve, Rams Packers will be on Netflix, so God help us all when watching that Rams Packers game. Talk a little hockey as the playoffs continue. Avalanche finished off the Ducks last night. Not the Avalanche. The Knights finished off the Ducks last night. They will face the Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals. We got the Canadiens beat the Sabres to go up 3-2 in the series. The winner of that series is going to face Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the Columbus Blue Jackets have extended Charlie Coyle on a 6-year deal worth $36 million. Now, I think he got too many years. He is already 34 years of age, so he'll be 40 at the end of his deal. But Coyle is a very good player. 20 goals, 58 points last year in Columbus. He's very consistent. I think he's played all 82 games like 8 times in his career. And he played 83 2 seasons ago when he played with Boston and Colorado. Boston traded him to Colorado at the deadline that year. A very good player in his third career season, over 20 goals. And he's a very good player, very solid centerman. And Columbus extends him. We had so the Edmonton Oilers were before. Well, actually, let me start with this. Oilers have fired head coach Chris Knobloch. I don't understand this at all. Took them to back-to-back Cup finals and has 1 year that they lose in the first round and he gets fired. I mean, maybe if his starting goalie in the postseason wasn't Tristan Flippin' Jarry in the Big 26, maybe they could have won that series. But nope, he's out. And they tried to, before they even fired him, uh, interview Bruce Cassidy. Even though Vegas fired him the very end of the regular season, they technically still own his rights and have control of them, so they denied them an interview. So, I mean, I have to think at some point he will end up in Edmonton. I could see him possibly being in Toronto if if Vegas is making it difficult for him to make it to get an interview. Also, that's a division rival, so Vegas doesn't want him to go there. We'll see what happens. But no luck out in Edmonton. Cassidy, he'll get one of these jobs for sure. We'll see what happens. The Leafs fired Craig Berube for 2 seasons. Look, I get it. You're completely redoing your front office. But I don't get the point was of getting rid of Craig Berube. I'm assuming they're going after Bruce Cassidy, but I mean, I don't know what you expect them to do. We took them to the playoffs last year, won a playoff series. May have been these conference finals if their goalie stayed healthy, but obviously a horrendous year this year, second worst team in the Eastern Conference. Ended up the first pick, and now Berube is out. But he should get another job. He won a cup at St. Louis. We'll see what happens, but Berube is out after 2 years. Tony McAvoy has been suspended for 6 games to start next season after that play that happened in the postseason. Best defenseman in hockey. And congratulations to Matthew Schaefer, the Islanders star defenseman. At just 18 years of age, he won the Calder Trophy. Had 23 goals and 59 points as a defenseman at 18 for the Islanders. Problem is the rest of his team sucks, which was funny to watch. But Matthew Schaefer does very deservingly win the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year this year in the NHL. And last thing I'm going to leave you all with, PGA Championship continues. Right now, Aldrich Popegeiter is in first place. I don't know who that is. At 4 under, we have a lot of guys at 3 under. Matsuyama, Alex Smalley, Minwoo Lee, Ryo Histotsun of Japan, Steven Yeager are all at 3 under. JT, Sky Scheffler, Ryan Gerard, Daniel Brown, Sahith Theegala, Max Grazerman, and Xander Schauffele are all at 2 under. So very busy top of the leaderboard very early on at the PGA Championship. Although you see that one guy, his name is Garrick Higo, never heard of him. He was late to his 7:18 a.m. tee time in round one, so they gave him a 2-stroke penalty. ESPN had a countdown on him today, which is kind of funny. How do you show up late to the PGA Championship when you're playing it? That's pathetic, just pathetic. That's all I got for you guys today. Have a great weekend. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.